The following video contains content that is intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. This video may contain AI-generated voices due to me being sick with COVID-19. I promise I am a real person, and viewer discretion is very much so advised.
Narration wasn't just a convenient method of storytelling for this film, but rather an intentionally employed plot tool to showcase internal conflict. But what if I told you this film holds up a mirror to coping mechanisms many of us use without even realizing it? Are they healthy? Not always. Here are the top 5 relatable moments from the film Luckiest Girl Alive that should serve as warning signs if experienced in your own life. If listening to Annie describe the detailed way she navigates social situations sounds normal to you, maybe even admirable, you might want to think twice. I know for me, it was easy to empathize with this trait of our main character. Those of us potentially on the spectrum may not find it odd at all. But you don't have to be autistic to exhibit symptoms of masking, or in other words, hide specific traits or mental health problems in an effort to fit in with other people around you. We constantly try to fit into other people's molds, but when it gets to a point of obsession and structured tactics like it is with Annie, it might be worth seeking professional help. Remember that scene on the pier where her mother is lecturing Annie about her outburst at the bridal shower? She may look like she is handling the situation like a champ by keeping calm, but in reality, she is dissociating. Dissociation is disconnection or detachment from one's sense of self, depersonalization, or one's surroundings, derealization, especially as a trauma response. Chronic apologizing to avoid conflict is unhealthy and usually a sign of childhood trauma. Different characters over-apologize throughout the movie. Annie seemingly uses it as a way to just diffuse the situation and avoid potential fights or triggers of her PTSD. Her fiancé, however, uses it repeatedly to make her feel bad. I don't remember exact lines, but things to the effect of, "I'm sorry I'm not good enough for you." In this case, this isn't childhood demons coming out to play, at least not directly, but just genuine emotional abuse. Because so much of her life is spent dealing with the unresolved trauma of the school shooting, as well as her assault. She keeps her circle small and pretty much shuts out anyone who she doesn't see as vital to her elevation of status. She thinks obtaining money, fame, even a new name will help her escape the torture of the past. Which leads us to number 5. Ani Finelli's identity crisis is a central theme that really highlights the desire to reconcile her traumatic past with her polished present. The vulnerable, traumatized her, with the bulletproof identity she's crafted meticulously of beauty, wealth, and high status. The dissonance reveals the internal conflict we talked about in the intro. The movie resolves this conflict in such a beautiful way. But I don't know that I can do it justice, describing the ending scene, that is, so I'll just let Mila Kunis do the talking.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I would love to stay in touch, but I already forgot your name.
Oh, it's Sarah.
Oh, that's okay. I'll just always remember you as the woman I told to go herself on 5th Avenue.
The biggest debate that we had post-production was whether we were a divided group about cutting that scene out. And half of us wanted it in and half of us didn't. And I was desperate to keep that scene in. It was a point of contention in one of the screenings, like one of the test screenings we did. Of all the things in the movie, this scene, the one moment that we're talking about, that one sentence, had a very polarizing effect on people. It's a matter of genuinely justifying. I was like, I'm desperate for this character to have vindication. This is her one moment of being who she truly is outwardly. And I was like, if this movie was 20 minutes ago, then that is a piece of dialogue that would have been in her head because she would be too scared to ever say it out loud. And for the first time in her life, she is saying her inner dialogue out loud. You have to allow her to have that moment. But it's interesting that you pointed to that. It's one sentence. We're talking about one sentence. Yes.
Is that the message that you want people to experience, that kind of empowerment?
I hope so. I think that people are empowered by their flaws, and I hope that people are empowered by their past, because we all have a messy past. All of us are wrinkled. We're all a little torn. We all have history that's beautiful and great that makes us who we are today. And let's live with it and move past it and grow with it and all of that. So I do hope that people walk away with that.